Hey, welcome to CEO Check-In. We have a guest coming on today, Carline Beaubrun. She was a speaker at the Million Dollar Women Virtual Summit this year. We did our first ever virtual summit, and both of our keynotes were amazing and just shifted from live to virtual on a dime and pre-recorded their talks just in case the internet went down. And it was Lauren Brill of Sweet Lauren's Cookies and Carline Beaubrun of Events by Carline, and they both gave fantastic keynotes, and we're so excited that Carline made a little bit of time to come on today and talk to us about how she has made sure that her event company is still up and running and thriving during this challenging time. We know that events companies have been really hard hit. Oh, hey there, Living Joyful Now. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Carline. Great to see you with us. Hi, Marinka. I'm just going to do a little bit of a tip before I bring you on. I always do the Go Big tip on CEO Check-In, and you can find all the Go Big tips on my YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube and type in Julia Pimsler Coach, you'll see all of the past CEO Check-ins. And if you love hearing from Carline today, which I know you will, she has so much amazing value to share with all of us, then please tell your friends they can go watch it on my YouTube channel at Julia Pimsler Coach. So before we bring Carline on, I'm going to share my tip. So the Go Big tip for today is when you're stuck inside your head, get out of your head and go to Excel. So the tip is get out of your head and go to Excel instead. This is the tip that you need to use when you're trying to figure out, should I pivot my business? Should I launch that new product or service? How much money should I spend on marketing? Often entrepreneurs have things going round and round in their head, trying to weigh the pros and cons, talking to everybody about it, losing sleep at night, when what you really need to do is just get out Excel, or it could be a Google spreadsheet, and type up the columns of, okay, how many do I think I can sell, at what price, and how much can I make in the next 6 months doing this? I just did this exercise this morning with one of my coaching clients, and right away, all her anxiety disappeared because she saw that she was going to make an additional $250,000 off of this new product that she's spending a lot of time creating, using her team's time, spending marketing dollars. It was starting to make her very nervous. So I said, get out of your head and get into Excel instead. And once we walked through the math of not only what she's going to make this year, but next year, she realized this was absolutely a worthwhile investment, and she decided to proceed. So instead of trying to make a decision by thinking about something over and over again, do the numbers in Excel and let whatever that tells you guide your choice about your business. We do this all the time at Million Dollar Women when we're thinking about bringing on new team members or making a new marketing spend. We always look at what is the potential this could bring into the business. And then we usually give it about a 10 or 20% haircut because we know something's going to go wrong, something is going to be not as good as we hoped. So we always do, bring it down a little bit, but having that benchmark of exactly how much you can make all the difference between feeling really anxious and scared about a decision and feeling confident and excited about moving forward. All right, so now I'm very excited to bring on Carline Beaubrun. Hey, Bianca. Hey, Lori. I see we have a bunch of masterclass women here. Good to have you with us today. Hi, Caitlin. So Carline, I'm going to send you a little request. And for those of you who are with us at the summit, Carline gave a fantastic keynote that just had so much value about the ways that she's built her multi-million-dollar event company. And hi, Carline. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great today. So nice to see you. Thanks for
You
making time.
too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, everybody.
Hey, so a lot of women on this call know you because of the
Yes.
summit, and we're really excited to hear you are coming back. But for the
Thank
people who
you.
don't know you, I'm going to give you a little intro, which is that Carline has been in the events business for many years. She has a multi-million-dollar events company based right here in New York City. And in addition to her event company, and one of the reasons we wanted to hear from you today, Carline, is you do a whole bunch of other things. So I'm going to do my best to cover them all, but here we go. So Carline is also a paid speaker. She also invests in real estate. She also runs an online community for people in the hospitality industry called event pros, and you teach at George Washington University. And I think there's something to do with a hair product that I missed. What was that?
I have a hair salon.
And the hair salon.
And
Okay.
the nonprofit organization.
And that's right. And the nonprofit, which I love,
Yes.
because we both are very interested in social change. So yes, you
Yes.
work with women who have been through domestic violence and helping them get
Yes.
back on their feet, which I love.
Yes.
And we're very much in support of your work there as well.
Awesome.
So the
Thank
reason
you.
I wanted to bring all that up is one, like, bravo, amazing. And you have
Thank
3
you.
kids, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people are wondering, like, how does she do it? And we are going to get to that.
Yeah.
But the reason I thought it was so timely to have you on is that, one, the event business is hit hard right now, right? And two, having diversified revenue streams is one of the most recession-proof things that you can do in your business.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people right now are realizing, like, wow, if I just had this one source of revenue, like, I'm in deep trouble, and I've got to build out some other revenue sources. So I'd love to start with, how did you know that was a good thing to do, to have this diversified revenue streams, and how's that working for you right now?
Yeah. So, how did I know? So, I mean, if those who don't know me, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. So a lot of things I was able to pick up, just growing up within the entrepreneur world and, my family and so on and so forth. And I think my most impactful experience was 2008 when the market crashed. And so everything went downhill from there. I had just like those of you who know me know that during that time I was going through a lot of turmoil, divorce. I had 3 children to take care of, and they were babies. And also I just launched a new business at that time, thinking that that was going to be my revenue stream to be able to, take care of my family at the time on my own. And so I was still managing the salon, which is a family-owned business, for 38 years. And at that time, I was just about to take it over. So it was just like, oh my God, all of these things are happening. And it was just, and then like maybe 6 months later, the market crashed and everything went downhill.
So hard. I
So
remember
yes,
that time. I was in business then too, so I feel you.
yeah,
But to be going through
everybody,
all that at once, the divorce,
yeah,
taking over your family business, building your own event business. So
yeah.
where did you learn, like, oh, I need to do all these things. I can't just focus on one.
Yeah, so after the market crashed, just pivoting between the launch of, the event production company, and that was my new baby, that was my baby, and the salon was my mommy's baby. And so when I took that on and I saw, I had to let the event production company go at the time so that I can manage the salon. And I think it's within that time period that I learned that if we didn't have the salon, even though my particular passion was events, if I didn't have the salon to keep me going at the time, I would have been totally screwed. And so going through all of that, at the same time, the salon definitely helped me to see, that, yeah, you need to do something else just in case. And not only that, during that time, 2008 was very specific to I was affected with the hair industry world in a specific way that I was able to learn from as well. So we had to learn how to bring the clients within, to keep our clients. And we saw within the whole area where we were, the neighborhood completely changed. A lot of the businesses around us closed, but we were the only ones who sustained.
Oh,
And that
amazing.
was through quick thinking. At that time, online was just, escalating, scaling up. Also, and a lot more businesses were going online. So we had to make that quick
What's
pivot
one
to
thing
being
you did
online.
that you did right
Oh
that helped
yeah.
you keep your clients?
Yeah. So we started our own product line and offering products online, and also hair products, that hair installations, because people at the time couldn't really manage taking care of their hair because they weren't working. And so the amount of money, the amount of maintenance that they would accustomed to coming into the salon every week or every 2 weeks, they couldn't do. So hair extensions became a thing during that time period, because it could be in your hair and you wouldn't know, you wouldn't have to, you would do minimal maintenance to take care of it. And it would last a long period of time. You come in once, once or twice a month or so to just get it maintained, or all the other
Yeah, that's really
hair care,
smart.
you could do it at home, and so that's where we offered the online stuff so that you can take care of it at home while you waited out the 2 months for you to come back
And I
and
want
get
to
a new
press
trim.
pause there, because what's so
Yeah,
great about what you did is that even though things all around you were, going down, you saw these other salons closing, you somehow had a mindset, and I do know you, and you have an amazing, powerful mindset. I need to ask you
thank
in a few
you,
minutes how you
thank you.
got it and help other other people get it. But your
Right.
mindset was, I know there's opportunity here, right? And so you
Yes.
went to where the opportunity was. You thought, okay, women
Yes.
may not want to spend as much as they did before, but they
Right.
still want their hair to look nice. And,
Right.
you know, it's sort of like we've seen during the pandemic, the salons that started sending color right to their clients. I mean, I texted
Yeah.
my colorist. I was like,
Yeah.
send me that color. And then my 15-year-old and I went into the bathroom and he
Yeah.
put the color in my hair. I very happily got to go back and see her, and we laughed about it about a week ago.
Yeah.
But right, there's always opportunity where
Yes.
other people see, you know, things falling
Demise.
apart.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I'm very, very big on that. Like, I always encourage women, where there is no way, you find a way. Where there's a will, I love that,
The
that
quote, the
saying,
mantra,
that
like where
quote.
there's a will, there's a
Yeah, where
way.
there's a will, there's a way. I teach my kids that from young all the way. You find a way, and I push them to, I can't do it. No, there is absolutely a way. You have to find it. And so that is how you really, you climb above everyone else. You climb above the rest. And it wasn't just salons closing in our area. Every business closed, in our area. There were carpet industry people, carpet businesses. There were tax industry. Like, everybody was just like, really tumbling. So I've learned that, financial stability is the only way to be able to get you out of some of these circumstances. And it's crazy, the pivot between 2008 and now, with the pandemic, within specific the salon industry. And we're going to move from the salon to the event side also. But for the salon specifically, 2008, people were still going out. They had no jobs, but they still had places to go. They still had people to see. With the pandemic, that wasn't the case. We
Oh,
weren't
good
going
point.
anywhere.
Right.
So
So
people
even
were
less
just like,
reason to get your
yes,
hair done.
exactly, exactly. And so
That's
it
right.
was just
You can
like,
just do the touch up my appearance setting on Zoom and you're good.
right. And you're good. And you could go on Snapchat and have a whole new look, like you were,
A lot of people
So,
started wearing like the headbands too. Did you
yeah.
notice that? Like it was all more wax.
So,
I'll just wrap it
it's
up.
exactly. So that was another pivot. A lot of our clients, because we service, uh, uh, I want to say about maybe 50% of our clients is, African American descent. And so they're here, is with the relaxers and stuff like that, they started to go natural. So it's just like, okay, if you don't need, our service and natural, you could do a lot of that stuff at home with just YouTube or anything
And then,
like
but
that.
then with your hair products, I imagine they could still buy your hair products.
Exactly,
And I do want to get to
exactly.
the second part of the question, which is, okay, so we've established that you were very forward looking, well, partly from
Yeah,
having gone through the first recession,
right.
right? Nothing like going through hardship to be like once burned, twice shy.
Absolutely.
So you have all these diversified revenue streams, which is fantastic. So how is that working for you now? Like when the pandemic hit, tell us a little bit what it was like for you. I'm sure the event side
Oh,
had to shut
yeah.
down, but like what was that like for you?
So, being financially stable was the key thing that, thank goodness, I learned in 2008, how to budget a business, how to, market, and how to not overspend, how to underspend, but still get value. Certain things you had to like really, I had to really look into. And again, like, I was working off a very minimal budget at the time because I had 3 babies to take care of by myself, and going through a divorce that, completely drained me after 11 years of paying for a divorce. So it was just
Oh,
insane.
I
So,
can only
you
imagine.
learn, yeah, you learn to check and balance yourself. And you learn, again, this is why I say, where there's a will, there's a way. You just have to push forward. You got to find, every avenue to help you with these things. And that was definitely something that I learned from 2008, being financially stable, and having, don't overspend, having a legit budget that works with your business. You don't have to be, in competition with the Joneses down the street. You have to make sure your business can sustain during these times, and that's something that's very
Yes.
important. That
So
you
help us
know,
understand exactly what happened. So
yeah,
when the quarantine hit, what was
yeah.
like the first thing you did? Did you call up your team and say, hey, we're going to work from home? Did you say, well, we're going to take our events online? Like, what'd you do?
First, I had an oh shit moment. Excuse my language.
Here, here.
I had an oh shit moment, and I was like, oh my god.
Because you have a
So
team of like 20 people, right? You have a lot of people on
yes,
staff.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful team. And but at being the head of the leader, people are looking to you to say, what are we gonna do? So definitely we really shifted really quickly. we were already accustomed to doing virtual events. We had wonderful partners that we worked with doing virtual events for major clients. And so it was just a matter of fact of bringing, because our company is split between corporate and social events, pretty much down the middle. And so it was easy for us to kind of say to the corporate clients, hey, you know, we're going to switch you over to a virtual platform. Don't worry, this is what we're going to do. And just speaking to them in a way, educating them, making them comfortable, being creative, really jumping on board full steam ahead, and, you know, not giving them the doubt that we, you know, as a boss, you can't show doubt. You can't show like, oh my God, we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to try this. No, we know what we're doing. This is what we're going to do. And this is how it's going to help you. You have to be very confident in selling yourself. Yes. You got to be very confident in selling yourself.
And I love, Carline, I just learned that even within your events business, you're diversified. That's actually really cool.
We had to.
Even within the events, right? You've got corporate and you've got social. That's awesome.
Yes. And so with that, it was a harder sell for us to sell our social events clients on, you know, explaining how we were going to do a baby shower on a virtual platform, or how we were going to do, you know, a graduation on a virtual platform. We work with a lot of schools. So we really had to get really creative and say, hey, listen, I know you want to postpone. We can postpone. But then when the postponement months came along, and it was just like, you know, hey, what are you going to do now? Because there's no way we're having this event. So it became, you know, we became a valuable resource in the sense of being a support system for our clients. And
would you say creative, like 80% of your clients said like, okay, let's go ahead with the virtual, or was it more like 20%?
Oh yeah, like, we had at least 85%. We really had very minimal cancellations.
So you kept making revenues all during this time. It sounds like you've been making money.
Yes. And we also pivoted online as well, offering our clients those who were, because especially during these past couple of months where phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 came about, where people can start having like 10 people gathering. Like we can't have large events, but we can have like 10 people, which is family members usually that, you know, do things at home. So now we've been able to pivot on, you know, giving a consultant, you know, being a consultant to them regardless. Still rentals, we're still able to withhold rentals. So people still renting, you know, 10 chairs. It's still something, even it's not 100 tables like we're used to from one particular client, but it's still something. We're still keeping in the minds of our clients, hey, we're here for you, we're here to support you. And so even with that, we diversified by also having, you know, other product revenue streams that we're able to pull from. So rentals was one of them.
Well, speaking of the diversified revenue streams, so of all those things I mentioned at the beginning, right? So events, invest in real estate, the hair salon, paid speaker, running an online community, teaching. So which ones went away, if any, and which ones you're like, oh, I'm so glad I do this because this is still here?
Yeah, okay, so the virtual platform took over my life. I cannot even lie. I didn't know how, doing it was like a big save, but I didn't know how, it became a very huge resource, and it was very time consuming because you're sitting in one virtual event and after event after event. It's different than you getting up and moving around and getting to different things and having your team manage. You know, it's great. I can't teach right now the way that I'm used to. So I started an online teaching course where I'm able to offer my students some still connect with my students, either, through Q&A or having some sort of a seminar or something for them to be able to connect with me if they needed to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I was able to speaking engagements. Of course, that's not a thing, but other, virtual platforms that are having things that would invite me on, and I would still do that. So it was just about managing my time. That became very crucial in being able to manage everything from home, because it's you're in one area and that's it. There's no bouncing around, getting on a plane, getting on a train. And sometimes, and I realized too, Julia, those moments were my downtime, my me time.
Oh, so good point. Right, that went away. That time on the plane when no one could reach you.
Right. When I'm on the train, nobody could reach me. It's when I get off or whatever. Or when I'm on a plane somewhere, that's my downtime.
I'm sure a lot of people are suffering from that, Carline. Did you find a way to replace it? Did you try to carve it out for yourself?
After I realized that this was becoming an issue, I had to be very proactive about it, because I was overexhausting myself, and I didn't realize how fast that I was,
it's tiring being on Zoom. A lot of people are writing about that, right? Being zoomed out, right?
I'm zoomed out.
Zoom calls all day. No more Zoom.
Exactly,
And so how did
exactly.
you
And
carve it out?
so,
That might be able to help some people watching. And
oh
by the way, we
yeah,
have so much of our community is here. They're so excited to hear from you. I see Rabia, I
thank
see
you.
Bianca, I see Anu, Lori,
Thank you.
Caitlin. I just want to give everybody shout outs. Denise, hello.
Hi,
And so I did want to invite you guys to write your questions in the chat, in the comments, because
guys.
I could talk to Carline all day long and it's fascinating, but I want to give you guys a chance if there's specific things you want to know. Go ahead and write them
Yeah.
in. There's a little bit of a delay. We're going to keep talking and I'll look out for those. So how did you carve out that time? It might help some other
Yeah.
people to
So
do the same.
I had to create a schedule, and I created this, and usually Sundays are my off days, no touch days, even if, when the world was what it was before. Sundays were my family time day, my me time day. So I had to go back to that because I found that my work was creeping into my Sundays. And it was like, Mom, are we going to do something today? And I'm like, well, what can we possibly do? So I'm like, just go.
I'll just work more.
I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
So
I've
I'll
been
be
there.
watching. Yeah. So they're like, can we watch a movie? My kids, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, let's do that. So while I'm watching the movie, I have my laptop out, and then I said, Carline, we're not doing that no more. So I had to, really, like, and my kids, they're my check balance too. When I'm at home, they're my babies, they're my ride or die. So they're like, okay, Mom, my daughter, no laptop, put the laptop away. We're gonna watch a movie. So it's like really having a support system also is one. Being able to check and balance yourself, having others to be able to help you check and balance if you're not able to do that. That's two. Setting a real schedule for yourself that you can actually abide by and just stick to.
And
I'm a
writing
big
in
post-it
downtime,
girl.
right?
Yes,
Writing
I
in
was just about
downtime
to
in the
say
schedule, right?
exactly. I'm a big post-it person. I have a post-it wall in my office. I have a post-it wall in my office at home. So it's just like being able to remove things and play around with my schedule where I can actually see it and relate to it. I tried the phone thing. My assistant has, our schedule on the phone. And sometimes I'm scrolling and I'm just like, I can't. But whatever works for you, you just have to really establish whatever works for you. For me, the posted things work. For some people, it's the phone or whatever, or maybe a notification that you alarm yourself, like, okay, it's time to take a break, and
Yeah,
really
take a
push
break.
yourself to
Well,
do
plus
that.
it's terrible for your eyes, right? To be looking at these
Oh my,
screens all day like we
yes,
all are, really
yes,
bad. I have to go
yes. It's
back to the
really, really
optometrist. I
bad.
think I've like my
Really,
eye
really bad.
level has gone
Yeah,
down. And I'm so glad you're talking about these practical ways to build in downtime because we
yeah,
are all probably working twice as hard to make half as
yes,
much money right now. Let's just face it, right? That's
yes,
what happens in a recession.
yes.
And recently with my chief of staff, Maddie, I was like, I'm trying to move, I'm trying to manage the business, I have a book deadline, there's so much going
You're
on. And she was
moving.
like,
I'm moving
you're
too.
moving too?
Like,
Oh my God, yes, I'm moving on August 14th. When are you moving?
oh, wow. Same. Around the same time
Same.
between
Oh,
July
well,
31st
we're
and.
gonna have to, we'll talk offline about that.
Okay.
But no, the truth is, Carline, I was getting burned out and I was being short with her and not like my best self. And she was like, this was her idea. She was like, how about we build in 2 hours of personal time every day in your schedule from 4 to 6? And
Yes,
I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like I felt like I just got this gift from the heavens.
yes,
Now I'm not always able to do it. Sometimes it's a
right,
meeting that creeps in there. But there are days where I look at that 4 to 6 blocked off and I could just like, I can breathe better, right? It's like,
right,
okay, I'll be able to do that call to the, movers during that time. So,
right,
right,
right.
having it in your schedule, having it as part of your life, super important. And we're getting some questions here.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Lori, who's in Masterclass, wants to know, what are the parts of your business that you hold on to and which ones do you delegate?
So that's a really good question. I usually start like I usually start holding on to stuff first, and then as I see where and who can do things amongst my team, then I delegate, if that makes sense. I usually start off because usually like especially when something new comes up on onto our like, for example, when we were pivoting onto a virtual platform fully for the months of COVID, I had to really sit there and strategize how I wanted it to look, how I wanted it to feel, how I wanted my clients to, to really understand it. Because it's your baby, it's my baby, So when it's your baby, it's like, okay, certain things, like you want it specific. So I do that first. And then I say, okay, well, Sandra is good for this because I know she can handle that better. This person is good for that. David is good for that. You know what I mean? So I give everyone based on what I know everyone can handle based on how I want it done. So it's very
I love
specific
that. I'm just
to
going to
that.
press pause there because I want to
Yeah.
make sure everybody gets the teaching. So here's what's different about how Carline operates than like a small solopreneur operates. When she's doing the new task, she's already thinking about who am I going to hand this off to? That's the difference. A lot of the women who come into our community, they're doing everything themselves. And we're not saying that when you get a new project, oh yeah, just take that baby and throw it to your VA. No, we're not saying that. We're saying that successful entrepreneurs are always doing things so that they can find the optimal way to do it and then hand it off to people. Does that capture the way you do it, Carline? Is that right?
Yes.
We're having a little
Absolutely.
delay.
Absolutely. I started it off the same way you
Okay.
said. Yeah, I started it off the same way you said, just always doing things on my own before I, really started establishing a team, which is why I started off with, it was just me. It was just me. So I know that event Buddha, I'm not a control freak.
You're getting some funny comments here. We
But
know
yes,
Carline's a control freak.
yeah, I know
Well,
him. I
wait,
know
let's just
him.
be clear. All
He's being
entrepreneurs
funny.
are control freaks, right?
But
We're
yes,
all control freaks.
yes, exactly. But no, I started off with just me, and then you start to exhaust yourself. You start to really, you can't be
Yes.
successful by yourself. That's just not going to happen. And so when you're limited and you can do 10 things in one sitting, but guess what? If you have someone else that's behind you, now you can do 20 things because that other person can do half of those things for you. You know what I mean? So the more people that you have, and it's not just a matter of, oh my God, I'm just going to have 25 people on my team. No, it was very strategically planned as far as every piece of the puzzle that I needed. But it's not until I actually knew what those pieces were and who or what I needed to be able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish
That
that
is such good
I
advice.
built my team.
I
Yes.
love that. And did you ever do the Excel spreadsheet? Like, should I hire this person? Did you ever get out and do the math of like,
I
well, how
didn't
much
do an
more money can I
Excel
make?
sheet. Let me tell you what I did though. I did like I'm a little bit more like I didn't do the spreadsheet. What I did was I wrote down the jobs that I needed on a piece of paper, and I actually did it like a chessboard game. Does that make sense? I did it like a chess
Really?
piece. Yes.
Yes, that's so
And
cool. Like move
that's
people around into
yes.
roles.
Yes. So I wrote down the roles, and then I took the chess pieces and actually put them where I needed them to be. And I said, okay, well, I might need 3 people for here, or I might need one person for here.
I
And this,
love that. I'm picturing Game
that's
of
how
Thrones when
that's
they
how
would
I
like
broke it
stand
down.
around the big
Yes,
map.
yes, yes.
I
That's how
love
I did
that.
it.
That's really, really cool. And
And
very
then I put
visual,
it,
right?
then I
And you know what I
transferred.
love
Yes,
is you play to your
I'm a very visual person.
yes,
Yes,
but then you play to your strengths, right? Because you're very visual. I'm actually very visual too. I love vision boards and all that. And so if
yes,
you're watching this right now thinking like, I don't know how I would ever build my company to be as big as Carline's with all these different things she does, real estate investing and hair salons and teaching and speaking and an online platform, it's about having the big vision and then using
right.
the tools that light you up, right? I happen to
Yes,
be a total nerd and love Excel spreadsheets. So
right.
when I'm
No,
planning, I need
that's
an Excel
okay.
spreadsheet.
That works for you. But
That's right.
after I was able to visually see it, then I was able to transfer it to I can't send that to my team and say, here's your chess piece, go, and here's the check,
Right.
So I had to
Here it
transfer it,
is
but I
drawn on
needed
a
to see it,
napkin.
right? I needed to visually see it because that's how I work. And you know what's funny? Everyone works differently. Even on my team, like you have to learn how your team works. Everyone is very different. And so to have a successful team, you can't manage in a way where everything works for everyone because that's how you want it in your business. No, because the way that you would be able to operate is not the way maybe Dennis will be able to operate. You know what I mean? And so learning how
Completely,
your
yes.
team works and how, what they bring to the table and trusting them that the value that you're bringing them on for is going to be something that they can actually, be successful in is very important as well.
Well,
And
management
that,
is
yeah,
really what it's all about once you're scaling your business, right? Because when you're going
yes,
from, doer to leader, as we call it in our
yes,
community,
it's very
then,
difficult.
the skills of being a leader are about empowering and motivating your team to do great work,
Right.
right? Not you doing all the work. And you are an amazing,
Absolutely.
shining example of that. I want to do one last question because then it's
Yeah.
quickly going to be 12:30. I could talk to you all day. It's such fun. So Denise Harris, who is actually on our $1 Million Women Fund board, and I'm going to do a quick commercial that we're having Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, an open meeting
Yes.
of the $1 Million Women community to talk about our scholarship program and our nonprofit. So please join us. Denise is going to be co-facilitating the meeting with me. And Denise asks, What positive surprises have come as a result of doing business during COVID? And what will you continue doing when COVID is over? So like some silver linings. We've been looking for silver linings in our community.
Yeah. Wow. A lot, a lot. I have found the way that people are moving is very like the market specific to our market. I know we did like a lot of research. I sent my team out when COVID was happening, like when we started going through the different phases, just to see how people operate. And people, some of my colleagues, when I said this to them and I gave them this advice, you should send your team out to see, what's really going on in the real world. How are people really responding to this? And so to our surprise, a lot of the fear that we had in our head as far as how we were going to move forward, we're not really there. They were really not as terrible or existent as we thought. So, we thought maybe after COVID, nobody's going to want to have events or nobody's going to want to do this or nobody. So many fears that we built in, we were able to just take out and be able to restructure, re-strategize on how we're going to move going forward. For example, it's not that no one is not going to want to get together or going to be fearful. How are we going to actually make our clients feel comfortable, feel safe? And I think that should be something that everyone looks at from, going forward, no matter what. A matter of how do you reconnect with people who haven't connected in so long. And there's a thing that says a bad habit, you can drop it or, pick it up in 30 days. It only takes 30 days. And we've been in this pandemic going on like 3-4 months now, and so it's like, how do you really reconnect with your market, your company, your team, and be functioning the way that you used to, or find a new norm. I hate that word, but
and so
find
what's
a new
one
norm
thing
as
you'll
to how you're
continue doing after
phrase.
COVID?
So what did
I love
do?
that. We have a little delay, unfortunately, but what's the second half of it? What's the one thing you'll continue doing when COVID is over?
Oh, we've always done it, and we will continue to do it, is stay in touch with people. We've stayed in touch with our strategic partners, sending hellos, sending how you doing. Same thing with our clients. We will continue to do that because that has proven successful for us all the way through, from way back when up until the future. I can't say that enough, because a lot of time people, when things are going wrong, you forget how to connect, you forget how to, and this says it more than everything. It's been and so this is a very
that is so important to stay connected. Yes.
Learn new ways of connecting.
Yes, and we're having a little delay.
Learn new ways of connecting with people.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Is it fine? Okay. Yeah, learn new ways to connect with people.
Well, a little bit. It's going in and out.
Can you hear me? How about now?
Yes, but we're going to wrap because one, it's time, and two, the connection is now not so great. So parting thoughts from Carline, really quick.
You said what?
What advice do you have to give to our women as just like a final parting thought?
Okay. Number one, like I said, find a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. Absolutely. Think outside of the box. Do not want to be like everyone else. It's okay to be different. It's better to be different, because now you have something valuable that people want. Love yourself, give yourself time, because this is an exhausting route. To be an entrepreneur is exhausting. Love yourself through it all. Give yourself time to be able to just reconnect with yourself, so that way you have more to give. Love you guys.
Amen to that.
Always a pleasure being here.
So good to see you, Carline. Thank you so much. And people,
too.
please go to Carline's Instagram and find out about her online events. Find out about her Pajamas with a Purpose, the wonderful nonprofit she's involved with to help women who've been through domestic violence and are getting back on their feet. And it was so good to see you today. I'll see you again, I hope, soon, IRL.
Yes, I know.
And let's talk about that move offline. I got tips.
Oh, yes.
I have tips too.
Absolutely. All right.
Bye, Carline.
Bye, guys.
So good to see you. Oh, that was so much fun.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Carline had us all like riveted during the $1 Million Women Summit. We could not believe how many things she and her team are doing, between the real estate investing and the hair salon and the events, which I didn't realize were both corporate and social. I love how she's got diversified revenue streams even within one stream. So if you're watching, a couple of the big takeaways from today, and then we're going to wrap up, is one, to absolutely find a way, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. I know you're all doing that already in this community. We've helped each other through so many tough times during this pandemic, now recession, and we are going to continue to do that. So to keep going forward with that knowledge that we're going to figure this out. We already are. We're all here, so we're clearly figuring it out. Two, to build in time in your schedule to relax and refresh, because being on calls and Zoom all day is exhausting in a whole new way. And having this undercurrent of the pandemic and potential health issues and not knowing where the world is going, it's exhausting. So build into your weekends really time to restore and relax. That is so important. And lastly, make sure to have diversified revenue streams. If that's a new concept for you, if you've been doing kind of the same thing for a while, maybe take a look at Carline's business. Think about, hey, what of those things she's doing could I start doing? Could I get involved with a product? Could I start doing speaking? If I don't do an online class, could I do an online class? If I'm doing an online class, how could I turn that into maybe a TV show or a partnership with a strategic partner? We have so many cool women in our community doing these very things right now in the $1 Million Women community. So some of it might just be about doing what she was suggesting, like staying in touch, right, with other people, jumping on the phone. Hey, how are you diversifying your revenue stream? Maybe just asking that question. So great to have you with us today. So glad you could share Carline with me, and we'll be bringing on other fantastic guests onto CEO Check-In. If there's someone you want to hear from, please write and let us know. Maddie, M-A-D-D-Y, @juliapim.com, my amazing chief of staff. We'll make sure that I get the message, and we will bring on folks you want to hear from. We're bringing on people who can help you grow your business right now. So people in marketing, people who can help you access capital, like Dr. Angela Jackson, who was on last time. Think about diversifying your revenue streams. What else do you need to know about? Let us know. We'll bring them on. Great to see you today. Thanks for joining us. And if you want to watch past CEO check-ins, just go to my YouTube channel, Julia Pimsler Coach. Stay brave and go big. And I will see you Monday for the next CEO check-in. Bye.